How do we differentiate from what's false and fake and real and true, especially in the spiritual and the healing scene? You probably see it. So much is being marketed, and there is like the latest advertisement of heal all your pains in one session. Get rid of your trauma for good. Enlighten on the spot. Take this, do that, and you will be happy and fulfilled forever. My goodness, so many are seeking right now. And that's a good sign in our time that many people are waking up. I am thrilled about that because I remember 40 years ago when I started on my own journey. And then I started teaching as a spiritual teacher, but also as a therapist, because I'm also a holistic psychologist and Hakomi therapist. I felt like I'm one of the few and one of the odd ones. And now there's the masses out there. And I can see that in one way it's something to really to celebrate, and we truly need people to wake up now because that time window we have is like really small. There's a lot happening on our planet. You see it yourself. I don't need to tell you all about it. And I want to just offer you a few things to be able to discern on a really flooded market what you can find that gives you the signs of what's true and what's actually fake. The thing is, with anything, to find that out, we have to look under the cover, under the show, and to see if the person, let's say somebody who's a healer, um, is actually the real deal. And if, I would say, don't underestimate a person to have done some training over a weekend, isn't some Reiki training over a weekend, that person may have a nice intuition, but doesn't have the skills. So you look for the credentials of a person. You look for how much training have they actually under their belt, and are they doing their own healing work? If somebody promises you they're gonna get rid of your wounds in one session, sorry, forget it. Um, because healing itself, there are many layers involved. And especially trauma, don't fall for somebody who isn't trauma trained. I've picked up too many in the mud who went from one healer to the next. And you know how it ended up? They felt worse than before because they wondered, what's wrong with me that I haven't healed with this person or with this method? So I, I really wish for people to look closely so that nobody is perfect and nobody can give you the ultimate. I don't either. But if somebody makes big promises, be careful, okay? And in the spiritual scene, honestly, everybody can cook up their own soup and call it the enlightenment fast track or whatever people call it these days. It's a huge market and some people make big, big monies on it. So don't waste your time, money, and energy if you want what's real. There's one thing you can look for. What is that person actually living? How are they showing up in their day-to-day life? And some of them, you will not see that. But can you sense they are real, they're authentic? We have a funny thing in our minds going on regarding spiritual leaders or teachers. That goes like this. That person has to be sitting on, on white clouds, talk from a completely transcendent, non-attached realm. You get my gist? I bet you do. They're not human anymore. And that isn't real. Because honestly, even if I've been teaching for 30 years and I get to be human, and I love being human with all the quirks that are involved in that. So if you're going for the ultimate white cloud person, what can happen is that you disconnect so much and separate yourself so much from your own humanity and from the ground that you don't function in life anymore. And what we want to do, and if you listen to me till now, I imagine that's what you're after. We want to embody this love. We want to embody this truth. We want to embody this aliveness. Why? Because that's what we came for. We got a body here and we live in this world. You may have children. You may have a partner. You may have work. How do you live it? How do you live this love that you may have recognized on a retreat inside of yourself? How do you show up present when you're triggered? How do you treat your neighbor next door who always turns the music up way too loud? How do you communicate? How do you cheer up? Maybe you go into a store and you cheer up a person who's sitting at the cashier, and he's grumpy. And how do you give him something, a simple appreciation? Because that's what sparks the revolution of love that we can so easily talk about. But anyway, I don't want to veer to the side too much. To just say, use your heart, your gut, your sense. Is this actually real? Or is it fake? Does it taste like plastic? Or does it have a bite, like a good meal? And if someone teaches you that you should always be smiley, that you should always feel positive, be careful. Because that person for sure hasn't embraced their shadow and dark side yet. So look for wholeness, look for realness, look for something that also touches you. And when you find that something, that person, or that way, then also check out what's the level of integrity that this has or the person has, and walk a while and see, do the practices and see, does it work for you? because we have entered a consumer attitude towards spirituality and towards healing that often goes like this. I'll just do that course or sign up with that person or listen to this podcast to feel good. Just a quick little something. Nothing wrong with that. But honestly, your soul, your heart, your being is calling for far more than that, than just to feel good for a moment. And the real thing sometimes feels a bit uncomfortable because true awakening, well, ain't a cheesecake walk. And healing ain't either. It can be gracious. It can be, unloosen. It can change everything upside down. And at the same time, put your boots on. Because if you're for the real, you will need them. So, your choice.